I want to talk about martial arts in prison and how they saved my life. And there's a reason I'm talking about this, and I'll get to that at the end. So it's not so much that they allowed me to protect myself in a dire situation, though sometimes that was the case. It's not so much that they intimidated people. It's more about what they did for me and myself. Because when I first got locked up, I was scared. And my response in fear was generally to lash out. If I felt the least bit threatened, if I felt like something might happen, I was jumped out the window. It was a lot easier to punch first and ask questions later, because in my mind, if I didn't get the upper hand, things would end badly. So a lot of situations that weren't necessary, that didn't have to go to where they went to, they could have been disagreements, they could have been conversations, or may even have been somebody posturing, didn't have to get where they went to except for the fact that I was afraid. Because I was afraid, I created a situation where violence became a reality. It wasn't even a threat anymore. And I understand, like, it's something I learned, and there were situations I saw where that really benefited people because they got out ahead of something that was really dangerous, and if they hadn't, it wouldn't have worked well. If you know somebody has a knife in his belt, you don't wait for him to pull it, like, you have to do something. But so many times I reacted when that wasn't the case. And what I found was the more confident I became, the more I became willing and able to defend myself and comfortable defending myself, the more I practiced, the more I trained, the less I felt the need to jump out the window, the more I could sit there and assess the situation or de-escalate the situation, and the more I could get my ego out of the equation. Because so often I was afraid, but I was also angry. Like, how dare you say that to me? Who the F do you think you are? You're not gonna make me look like this in front of other people. But at the core of that is fear. Because we believe in that moment that if somebody says something or does something, it's going to take from us, or that other people are going to treat us differently, or it's going to make us look bad. What I found, the strongest people, the scariest people, they didn't care about that stuff. Like, that wasn't what bothered them because they knew who they were and they knew what their limitations were. They usually had really strong lines. Some of the guys I really respected would say things like, bro, you can say whatever you want. You put your hands on me and I'm going to hurt you. And that was their rule. People would say stuff, they would rile them up, and they would say, you know what, we can go in the cell. Like, you want to put your hands on me, we can do this. And what it did was it created an environment where there was no benefit to kind of snatching. There was no competition about talking, going back and forth. So I got to the point where after training long enough, I felt like, you know what, I can just draw that line. And I still didn't want to go there. I still avoided situations when I could. But if it came down to that, I could be like, yo, you want to go in the cell? Like, let's just do this. And that takes away 95% of the fight. Because most people I saw who were like trying to instigate or were trying to intimidate, they didn't want somebody to actually fight back. They wanted the war of words, they wanted the drama, or they wanted to bully somebody. And so being in that situation gave me a greater freedom because I didn't have to get into all the BS. I didn't have to get drawn into the drama. I didn't have to live in fear. I was able to be comfortable. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. And I'm grateful for the people who trained with me along the way. Because the first thing I did in prison was learn how to box. You know, I had done karate as a kid, I had wrestled as a kid, so I had a strong foundation, but I still had that like stupid sideways karate fighting stance. It wasn't realistic unless you're Stephen Thompson in the UFC, and that's just a whole different thing. But I learned how to box, and I learned how to take a punch, and I learned how to roll with punches, and I learned how to carry myself in a way that felt more comfortable. And as I built on that, and I worked with other people, and I learned different styles, or basically slowly improved my game, it got me to the point where I was like, okay, I am comfortable in this situation. I was aware of what, was a bad idea. Hey, this guy's 300 pounds. If I go in the cell with him, man, I better get some shots off quick because otherwise he's just going to smother me or like slam me through the wall. But it allowed me to be in a place where I could kind of like negotiate or speak from a place of strength rather than a place of fear and weakness. And the reason I talk about all this is because this is my white belt. When I got out, I started going to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And again, I had done wrestling inside, I had done some Jiu Jitsu, I had done a bunch of little things, but it was all backyard stuff. What I found in going to a gym is that the level of expertise and the level of detail is just incomparable. Because I was good for the guys on the inside. I came out and guys just ran through me. But I'm able to go to gi classes and no gi classes, and I throw myself into it. I've done a couple little competitions, and I love it. I love the way I learn. I love the way I grow. I love the way I challenge myself. And just the other day I went, and there are two guys that just smashed me, like absolutely smashed me. But what it does is it gives me a problem to solve. It's a puzzle, and I know, okay, I could do this and this. Like, these are the things I need to add. These are the things I need to do. And that was a cool thing to realize because for a lot of the time, like, I just figured, I was doing something wrong. Like, in life, if something got hard, I think, oh, well, I can't do this, or I'm not good at this. But jiu-jitsu has taught me just how much it's about learning. It's about recognizing the puzzle, recognizing the pieces, and then slowly coming up with an answer or solution. And it's cool because that's how you get better. The guys at the gym are the best are the ones who put themselves in bad situations over and over and over. Like this one kid that I rolled with in no-gi, I was pressure passing him, and I was bigger than him, and I was stronger than him, and I should have done it. But every single time he got a dominant position. Because what he does is he says, look, I'm a wrestler. So if you end up on top of me, it means you're a better wrestler, and you're going to try to pressure pass me. If you know what this means, it means basically you're going to be really tight, and you're going to try to pass guard tightly rather than loosely or fast. And so even though this kid and I have been training for about the same amount of time, like, he got really good at one thing because he knew that was what he needed. He put himself in a bad situation over and over, and he was dominant from that bad situation, which is really cool to see. But anyways, I started doing jiu-jitsu, I don't know, probably a month or two after I got out. I went to a couple different gyms. I found one that I really like. I had a period where I had to take off where I messed my knee up really bad. I had a period where I got sick, so I wasn't able to train the entire time. But when I went to South by Southwest, that was the same time as the belt test, when they had everybody in the school testing for new belts, so I wasn't able to do it. But there was another kid who had hurt himself, and so he and I are both testing for our blue belts tonight. And I'm excited because I get to go to the gym and I get to put my skills to the test. And the reality is that I already know where I'm at in level. Like, I'm rolling with blue belts and purple belts and brown belts. Like, I know where I'm at. And it's not even just really about the belt, because you have blue belts who will smash guys that are purple belts. You have purple belts who will, smash brown belts. It's not just about that, but it's just about the progress. And it's nice to see, and it's nice to experience, like, hey, I have put time and energy into this. I have done this. And every time I go to an open mat and I roll with somebody that used to beat me and I do a little bit better, whether I win or I just survive a little bit longer, I recognize my growth. And the good part is when those guys are training just as hard as you are and they're getting that much better and you're still inching up on them, like, that's really where it happens. So the belt is just a symbol. It doesn't really mean anything, but it's a good thing. And I appreciate being able to go and be a part of the community. Because if you ever go to a gym, like, those are the people you spend a lot of time with if you're obsessive like me. Like, I usually go Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to the 6 a.m. class and the noon class. And I remember going in one time and be like, man, do y'all have any friends? And they're like, friends, that's overrated. Because we spend so much time together that becomes like a little community. We did a game night with some of the people from the 6 a.m., the noon class. Like, we just got together with a group of people who have a common interest, and our lives outside of the gym are totally different. We have, like, police officers and venture capitalists and nonprofit, everything you can think of. But inside that gym, we're all equal. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you do on the outside, you're equal. And that creates a bond that when you go to a gym night or you go out for dinner or you go do something, there's a bond there where there's this lack of competition. Nobody's trying to prove who they are or be tough or do anything. People can let down their guard and know, I've been with this person when they literally were choking me out. You know what? I guess I can trust them, and I guess I can just talk to them. So it's an experience I love, and that's why I'm a passionate martial artist, and I will forever be. And hopefully one day I'll be able to expand even more and get beyond just jiu-jitsu and some of the other things that I really love. But for that, I need time. So for now, I'm just focusing on one thing, and I really enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy what you're doing as well.